What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Marty coming to you with another video. Here to finally talk about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Woo! And let me tell y'all what a doozy this movie was. Now, if you haven't already known, this is the sequel to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And you know what? I'm just going to come out straight out of the gate and just say that this movie is a 10 out of 10. I got to review it right now because this movie was absolutely amazing. And I haven't stopped thinking about it. I have the urge to go see it again and again and again. And let's just talk about it, y'all. I really like how this movie started off with Gwen and it also ended off with Gwen. I really love the dilemma that she's in. She's in a dilemma with her dad, Captain Stacy. They have a nice flashback of her and Peter being close friends. Peter wants to be special like Gwen, and so he injects himself with the lizard serum and he becomes the lizard. And during a fight with Gwen, she accidentally kills him. And then Captain Stacy happens to roll up and he sees that it's just Gwen, and then she takes off. And so he believes that Gwen killed her and also she should go to jail. During the multiversal incident where the Vulture from another universe happens to go into her universe, we get the introduction to Miguel himself, Spider-Man 2099. Miguel and Gwen fight the Vulture, but not before Jessica Drew rolls into the frame, and so it's a 3-on-1. Miguel's introduction was so badass, it's so menacing. I just love how the framework is during that particular time, and he's just amazing to look at. I love the design. He just looks so big, so menacing, so muscular, and terrifying. I know it's animation, but that physique is goals. I also love his theme music. His theme music was so badass. To me, it kind of gives a hint into the Spider-Man Unlimited series theme music. If y'all haven't seen it, go check out the theme music and come back and let me know to see if there's a hint of it. Not a whole lot, but just enough, just like the main beat of it. The three of them are able to defeat the Vulture, and Captain Stacy is able to capture her alone. Gwen eventually unmasks herself and shows her face to Captain Stacy, you know, her dad. And he's shocked and saddened, but he still goes by the book and is trying to arrest her. But not before Spider-Man 2099 and Jessica Drew cage him in. They both recruit her and take her into the Spider Society. At this point, we travel back into another universe and we catch up with Miles. Here we get the introduction of the Spot. If y'all haven't seen the clip released online prior to the movie's release, it was where the Spot was trying to rob a bodega and he's trying to get this ATM machine, and then Miles also rolls up and then they have I guess it's somewhat of a fight going through his holes. I know that just sounds wrong, but yes, traveling through his holes and whatnot, and they're both screaming, and you know, it's pretty cool and it's pretty funny as well. The Spot hints at his origin, but Miles is just playing it off, especially because he has somewhere else to be, and that is with his parents at his school, trying to get a start on the whole college intuition. Miles calls Spot the villain of the week, and that definitely upsets him. I really love the whole dynamic between Miles' parents and Miles. He's juggling being Spider-Man and just trying to be the student, but he's not talking to his parents a whole lot about what's going on, understandably. And, you know, he doesn't know if he should because he doesn't want them to worry or, you know, maybe not let him be Spider-Man. It's just very hard for him to juggle what's going on. The Spot gets a little bit more upset and he rampages at both Jeff and Miles, but not before he kicks his own butt, literally. And he sends himself into some type of void. There he sees spots surrounding him and he goes into one and it actually takes him to another universe. And one universe happens to be a Lego universe. And that was actually pretty neat. You get a Lego Peter Parker and you get also a Lego J. Jonah Jameson with audio from the original Spider-Man movies because it is still J.K. Simmons. Another Spot leads him into the Venom universe, and that leads your first cameo of Mrs. Chen, and it's a little funny interaction. Gwen visits Miles in his universe, but because Gwen actually had something to do, and her job there was to actually surveil the Spot. She gets carried away by being with Miles because she has missed him, and likewise, he's missed her, and he gets to hang out with her and see what's been going on. You know, there's a very acute moment of romance. Also, she gets to meet his parents, and they kind of get maybe a little bit better understanding of Miles. And at the end, Mom tells him to go after her, even though he's still grounded. Gwen goes back into the Spot where she left a little camera, so trying to surveil him. But what happens with the Spot is he actually gathered everything he needed to basically level up. Jessica Drew makes another appearance, and she's like, I can't help you if you don't catch him. So they have to go to the next universe to try and catch him. And Miles is right there, but he's actually invisible. He's listening to the whole thing. And right before she leaves into the next universe, Miles just jumps in. And this is where we get into Spider-Man India's universe, Mumbattan. And I really love the character, played by, I don't know his name, but played by Dopender in the Deadpool movies. And I've seen him in other stuff here and there too, the actor. And I really like him. He was a joyful, carefree, outgoing Spider-Man. And yeah, every bit of him with him and Miles is funny. They also have a nice team up. But yes, I really enjoyed the Spider-Man India character. The Spot is able to get to Alchemax where he needs his final collider where he's gonna level up, and he actually barricades off Miles, Gwen, and Spider-Man India, but not before Spider-Punk actually breaks through the barrier, and boom, we get the introduction to Spider-Punk, Hobie Brown, who is voiced by the amazing actor Daniel Kaluuya. It was also very sus because obviously Gwen does miss Miles, but Miles comes to find out that Gwen has been sleeping over in Spider-Punk's universe, and even Spider-Man India knows. Oh my God, does he know? Does Miles know about Hobie? Like, oh, come on, Gwen. If you really love Miles or really miss him, why would you be doing this? And that's also why she has like the green chucks that she has in the movie, is because those are actually Hobies. So yeah, Gwen, no, no, no. The Spot uses a collider on himself, and he's able to level up. He becomes this dark, almost entity-looking thing, and he is truly amazing, and he vows that he is going to kill basically Miles' family, everyone he loves. Miles has a vision of his dad running towards a kid with a collapsing building. That must mean something. That universe is collapsing, and so Jessica Drew rolls up with a lot of Spider-Man, and they all get sent back into the Spider Society. And this is where I was, smiling from ear to ear, so much grinning and happiness. You know, I was just filled with joy just looking at the Spider Society because there were so many Spider people. And yeah, it was truly amazing, pun intended. I got a first look at the Spider-Man Fortnite collaboration. I also got to see Spider-Man, the PS4 version, Insomniac Spider-Man. I saw the Scarlet Spider-Man, you know, Ben Reilly. And there was, ooh, amazing cameo right there. Amazing cameo. The cameo was Donald Glover returning as the Prowler. You know, Donald Glover, Childish Gambino? Yeah, he was actually in the Tom Holland movies, Spider-Man Homecoming. And that went nowhere with the character in all those three of those movies in the MCU. But he makes an appearance here as a Prowler, wearing a Prowler costume. And so that was honestly amazing to see because it's basically a full circle. And I'm just like so happy that that happened. There they meet Miguel O'Hara. Miguel explains that the Captain dying was a canon event. It's basically how all these Spider-Man stories are woven together in this big web. If the canon event is disrupted, then they can lose everything. Their webs of stories can fall apart. And that scene was just beautifully shown. You got to see a couple cameos in those webs. You got to see the Spectacular Spider-Man with him losing Uncle Ben, and also Andrew Garfield losing Captain Stacy, and you got a couple shots of Toby returning. One shot of was him kissing Mary Jane upside down, and the other was him with Uncle Ben. Peter B. Parker says, if not for Uncle Ben, they wouldn't be here. All this is shown because Miguel knows that the Spot is going to kill Miles' father, Jeff. And Miguel has to let it happen because it is a canon event. But Miles, no, he wants to save him. Obviously, that's his father. He wants to save everyone. As Miguel said, you have a choice, Miles, to save one person or save the entire universe. But Miles wants to do both. Miles' case is that if all the Spider people knew that Uncle Ben would die, then they would for sure go after him. And I think so too. I think that they would actually save him. I understand what Peter Parker said about if it wasn't for Uncle Ben that they wouldn't be here. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that if they would know, that they would try to stop it as well. So in that way, I am Team Miles, but I'm also Team, Miguel, because he was such a badass. And I love that whole scene. You just feel the intensity, the score, just intensifies it even more. And as like tensions are rising, you just see the Spider people just walking into frame And that's because Miguel's not going to let Miles leave. He actually cages him in. But Spider-Punk, back in Spider-Man India's world, he kind of taught him how to use his venom powers by not using his fingers, by using his palm. And so Miles uses his palm and actually electrifies out of that cage. And there we get the famous scene that was released before the movie came out of Miles escaping the whole Spider Society. And that was cool seeing all the different Spider-Man go after Miles. If I haven't already mentioned, Spider-Man Unlimited was there from the animated series. You also saw a shot of the Bagman, the Spider-Man manga, and there was like a few animals. Like, it was really, really cool to see all these Spider people after Miles. Once they leave the Spider Society and they're actually out in Nueva New York, it was actually pretty cool. I love the whole fight between him and Miguel, trying to explain to him that you are the original anomaly, because the spider that actually bit Miles was from a different universe. And so the other universe where that bug came from doesn't have a Spider-Man. And so he's telling him that you're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be Spider-Man. But that is also another callback to a moment with Rio and Miles about not letting anyone tell him that he doesn't belong. Peter B. Parker and Gwen knew about the whole situation, and that definitely upsets Miles even more. And it was so cool, just the level of intensity that Oscar Isaac brought to playing Miguel. He's just screaming at him, "You have no idea what you are doing!" Like, oh my god, those lines just played over and over in my head. Miles' plan was to go back to the Spider Society and have him sent home. And he was able to do so, just by a little bit. But the universe that Miles gets sent to is not his. As I mentioned, the spider that bit Miles was from a different universe, and the portal spider thingy sends him back to that universe. It's an amazing scene how it plays out, because I was already at the edge of my seat, and I'm like, no, oh my god, the fact that he learns that Miles is not in his universe. He talks to his mom and he finally reveals that he is Spider-Man, but she's like, who? She doesn't know who Spider-Man is. And he's like, what the heck, basically like, that's weird. But then Uncle Aaron walks into the apartment and he's just like confused, like, what the heck? And so he does mention his dad, and Uncle Aaron is kind of, playing along with it. They actually walk outside and he actually gets knocked out by someone. It was very similar to that first scene where Miles captures Peter B. Parker and ties him to a punching bag in the first movie. And in this scene, Uncle Aaron has Miles in the same situation. And so he's assuming that he's the Prowler, but Uncle Aaron's like, I'm not the Prowler. Miles looks up and there's a figure standing on top of a ledge. That figure looks a lot like the Prowler, and then he's talking to Miles and then happens to reveal himself as Miles. So in that universe, Miles is the Prowler. And that scene, like I said, was just so chilling. It had me on the edge of my seats because I didn't really know. At first, I noticed the color was off, the color palette of the universe. It was green and purple, but, I didn't really think much of it until I kind of got, the hints. I'm like, wait, no, this isn't his universe. And yeah, I thought that was pretty awesome. After Miles left, Gwen officially becomes Team Miles, but Miguel isn't having that. He sends her back to her universe, and now she doesn't have the little time portal thing. But there was a moment too, right before the chase happened at the Spider Society, Hobie did quit. And you kind of got a sense that Hobie was, not for the Spider Society. And so Gwen returns home and she talks to her dad, Captain Stacy, and she comes to find out that Captain Stacy actually quit his job. And they have a breakthrough scene, they hug it out, and Captain Stacy says, oh, like one of your friends came by and dropped something off. And it happened to be Hobie, who dropped her off a spider gadget thingy. And so she goes into another universe, back to Miles' universe. But that scene played off with the scene where he was already over there. And she realizes it as well. And so what Gwen does is that she gathers the gang. She gathers Spider-Man India, Spider-Punk. She also gets back Spider-Ham, Penny Parker, and also Spider-Man Noir. Spider-Ham and Spider-Man Noir, they didn't have a voice. So hopefully Nicolas Cage comes back as Spider-Man Noir. And the final shot is actually Gwen with the music just rising and rising and upbeat. and she enters the portal. If I missed anything else, please feel free to comment below because I really enjoyed this movie. Like I said, this movie is a 10 out of 10. I absolutely loved it. This is not just one of the best superhero movies of all time, it is one of the best movies of all time. And I cannot truly wait for Beyond the Spider-Verse. Everything you want in a movie, this film had. And again, the animation was top notch. Obviously, this is their specialty. And the score, I forgot to mention the score. The score was truly amazing. And also the soundtrack by Metro Boomin. I honestly have not stopped hearing the soundtrack. With that being said, as I mentioned, if I left anything out that y'all want to talk about, please comment below and let me know because I am dying to talk about this movie some more. So thank you guys for watching again. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.